of the sweet potato pie. Even the keenest taste buds will tell you the best food on the planet. Large enough to serve you and small enough to know you. So get to Henry's at 5431 Indian Head Highway, Oxon Hill, Maryland, or give us a call at 301-749-6856.
Soul food, Henry's soul food. What do we need? Soul food, Henry's soul food.
Welcome to the Armstrong Williams Show, brought to you by Golden Crust Bakery, the fastest growing Caribbean-owned franchise in the United States. Golden Crust is committed to the delivery of quality food and excellent customer service. Visit them today at goldencrustbakery.com. Back from Vegas, live and in living color, where I attended the National Association of Broadcasters since last week. Back in the saddle, we're live. Yes, we're live and ready to rock the house. Dr. Thelma Reese, how are you today?
I am fine, Armstrong. Glad to hear your voice again.
Oh, what a sweet thing to say. And it's so good hearing your voice.
Thank you.
Is Dr. Bobby Fleischer joining us?
I assume she's there.
We should never assume, Dr. Reese.
You're so right.
Dr. Fleischer's not there. Let me see. Now, that's unusual.
I spoke to her this morning.
You think she's still among the living?
She was this morning.
You know, a lot can change since morning.
Well, that's true, but I'm hoping for the best because, you know, our book is underway and I need her badly.
Okay, well, let's just pray that she's still with us. We'll find out soon. Let me see if Dr. Alan Greenberg is with us. Hello, Dr. Greenberg.
Dr. Greenberg?
He's not there. You know what? It's just you and me against the world, Dr. Reese.
Hey, we've done this before.
You must be special today.
Well, I'm always thrilled to talk to you.
You know, I tell you, you know, one of the things that we have not talked about, and hello, everybody. Welcome to the show. Thank you for joining us. Welcome back. Have you ever gone to Vegas?
I have.
Oh, no.
I have. I love it.
Did you?
I do. You know why I like it? It is so obviously and thoroughly artificial.
It is so artificial.
That I find it really kind of funny because there isn't a natural element that hasn't been somehow manipulated. If it's water, then it's made into fountains that sparkle with color and are so unnatural looking, and it's just sort of a monument to artificiality and excess and glitz.
It is so true, and people buy into it. Oh, you walk.
Oh, they take it so seriously. You have to go there and see it as funny.
You walk into the Bellagio or the Gardens of the Wind, and you think you're in the Garden of Eden. It's so breathtaking. Some people actually think they've reached paradise.
I know. Well, I'll tell you the thing that really upset me, though, one time, although you can't laugh at people, I think, when they're doing something sincere. But one time I was there, and one of my daughters came from California to meet me. I was there to speak to some people at a university. And we're sitting in what was supposed to be an outdoor cafe, which, of course, was indoors in a big hotel. And coming toward us was a wedding party with the bride and the groom all decked out in their wedding clothes and their whole party with them, and they were walking to the chapel in the hotel. And somehow, I hope it really was a sanctified moment for them. but it sure didn't feel like it.
I saw so many wedding parties. It wasn't funny when I was in Vegas. You know, I wonder why people go to Vegas to get married. To me, it's so. I don't want to say it cheapens the meaning of it, but it's.
I think that's the word I would grope for. That's how it felt.
You know, I tell you, the good news is this: is that people need a dose of artificiality every now and then.
Exactly. Well, that's why I like it, because I think you do need a dose. You need a jolt. It brings you back to maybe realizing when you see it in such an expanded form, it brings you back to thinking about how superficial all that stuff is. And it makes you kind of deal with reality more. Or at least that's the effect it had on me.
You know, I tell you though, but kids love it.
Oh, I can understand it. It's busy and colorful, and there's a great M&M store.
Oh, with all the chocolate?
Yeah.
Oh, my goodness. It reminds me of something you would see in The Wizard of Oz.
Right. And there was a hotel that I was in where they made their own waves. They had a little artificial beach right at the hotel. And so the kids could go in the water and think that there really were waves because they were making them with machinery. It's great. I mean, it really, in many ways, the designs are fabulous. What people have been able to do to create these atmospheres is quite amazing.
Can you imagine the money that people have paid to be so creative?
It is astonishing. And, you know, the way some of these hotels are designed, I think that the people who do them must also be theatrical designers, don't you? I can see them doing shows, you know, because you do feel like you're entering a theater when you enter these hotels.
Well, it is a theater.
Yeah.
And even the shows to me are artificial with people singing. It's so staged.
Right. I did once see something, though, that was very heartwarming and moving because when I was there, someone was training service dogs to work with handicapped people, blind, deaf, people who couldn't get around well, and they were taking those dogs through a hotel because it was like a final test. Could they be around these crowds and go up and down escalators and hear all this constant jingling and music? And it was just wonderful to realize why those dogs were being taken through the hotel and realize what they were going to do for people.
Oh, and people love animals, don't they?
Oh, well, I do. Sometimes they love animals more than humans, though.
You know, because they are unconditional.
True. This is true. An animal loves you no matter who you are, if you're good to them.
So, Dr. Reese, tell us about this book that's in development.
Oh, my gosh. So exciting, Armstrong. So exciting. We've just gotten back the first word from our editor at the publishing house, and she did have one, we thought, very good suggestion. And we wrote back and said, you know, we think you're right about Chapter 3. We're going to make some changes. And she said, good, because it'll be going into the print, the real print, at the end of next week. And Dr. Fleischer and I were all excited and realized, my goodness, they really like it. Just that one change. So it'll be out in the fall. And, of course, it is about women, the new senior woman in retirement, and what that means today, and how many people are doing it really, really well.
How do you do it well versus do it bad? Is there a difference?
Well, I'll tell you, one of the things that we have found most important in this is the people who are doing it well are the ones who are still involved, engaged in life. And they're engaged in life in a way that doesn't isolate them into what we call a senior bubble. People who continue to be interested in what younger people are doing, as well as their contemporaries. You know, we've met some people who say, things are terrible now. Kids are awful. They don't know anything. They don't know what we knew. Their life isn't as good as ours was. And, of course, that's so not true. When you get to see and know kids, high school kids, college kids, young people who are raising children, they make me very hopeful. But you have to get to see them, and you have to get to talk to them, and they have to get to talk to you. I think that's a big part of doing well when you're a senior.
When did you start feeling as though you were a senior? Or do you feel as though you're a senior?
Well, it's interesting. I realized that it probably hit me. I'll be 80 in June.
Hold on. We're going to answer that when you come back. Don't hold
okay.
on, Dr. Thelma Reeses. I guess I'm worried about Dr. Fleischer. It's not like her.
You know what? I'm going to call her on my other phone.
Okay, you do that.
Armstrong Williams returns in a moment.
Say bye-bye burgers, pass on the pizza, forget the francs. Anytime is party time. Discover Golden Crust's authentic Jamaican-style patties. Beef, chicken, vegetables, soya, spinach, and shrimp. Feast on our great taste sensations. Jerk chicken, oxtail, sliced fish, and much more. Savor the taste of the Caribbean. Only at a Golden Crust near you. A family tradition since 1949. GoldenCrustBakery.com.
For more information on the Armstrong Williams Show, please visit our new website at www.rightsidewire.com. There you can find his syndicated column archive, view live streams, and get your favorite conservative pundits' views on the current issues affecting the American people. From building wealth to foreign policy, stay connected with Armstrong Williams and his colleagues at the all-new www.rightsidewire.com.
Hi, this is Armstrong Williams. What does it mean to be conservative? Freedom of speech, freedom of free enterprise, freedom of assembly, less government, less taxes. As a matter of fact, a flat tax. Everyone should pay proportional tax. It doesn't matter whether you make $100 million or $10,000. Everyone should pay their 10%. Everyone should have something at stake in this American economy. I'm Armstrong Williams, expressing what we mean by conservative traditional value.
Does your school, team, church, or charity need a new fundraiser? Do you need to work out of your home or part-time? Are you a small business that can use an additional revenue stream? Then you need Yellow Llama. Do you need affordable web services or tools to enhance your existing business? Are you a graphic artist who wants to create a revenue stream with your art but not get ripped off? Then go to www.yellowllama.com.
America must change course if we hope to survive and save the American dream for our children and grandchildren. How do we fix Social Security and Medicare? How do we cut government spending? How do we reform health care? How do we simplify the tax code? The Heritage Foundation has a bold plan that tackles these tough problems using common sense solutions that leave partisan politics on the sidelines. Find out how we can save the American dream at savingthedream.org, paid for by the Heritage Foundation.
Hi, this is Armstrong Williams with an opportunity to own a piece of paradise in Nassau, Bahamas. Spectacular land prices, 8,000 square feet, 20,000 square feet lot, affordable prices, hilltop properties with views of the magnificent sea. Just call 242-677-3120 or 3121 or go to info@rightsidewire.com and leave your information.
Where heads of state, sports, entertainment, and political celebrities meet. You're listening to Armstrong Williams.
And welcome back to the Armstrong Williams Show. Dr. Reese, you were talking about you just turned 80. Please continue.
Well, not quite. In June I will. But I would say about 5 years ago or so, that's when I got interested in writing this book. And someone just asked me, well, what is it about? I said, it's about what I want to know about. It's about how to do getting old. Not just older, but reaching the stage of really being among the older part of the population. You know, one of the things we say in the book that we noticed is, the term adolescence, that didn't just happen. Somebody made it up. A very great psychologist in the early part of the 20th century coined the word adolescence. Before that, they just talked about children and then adults. And there was no name for this in-between age. I think we need a name for this age right now that I am. Because what's happening is this part of the population is growing so rapidly that we're becoming young old age and old age. It's a whole new group of people. One of the things that made me conscious, I think, of aging is, of course, starting to see friends go, which is a shock. Realizing that I didn't have quite the physical stamina that I had, although I do pretty well. But also this technological divide that we're very aware of now. I keep up with the computer, but I know many of my friends who don't. This is making for a real division in society. So I became aware that younger people know a lot of things and do things differently than the way I was raised doing them. And frankly, I don't want to be put on a shelf and not know what's going on. I'm still curious.
Dr. Fleischer, welcome to the conversation, and thank you for joining us.
Thank you. I'm sorry. Yes, I'm here.
We're a little worried.
We were concerned.
I can't tell you the extent of our concern. Dr. Alan Greenberg, welcome to the airwaves.
Well, thank you. It's a pleasure to be here.
We hear you were sitting around waiting on a call.
Well, I was.
Well, we're here now. Tell us, what is heavy metal detoxification?
Well, most people don't realize it, but our environment is incredibly contaminated. And we have all kinds of toxic metals like mercury and lead and arsenic and aluminum and things like uranium and thorium and nickel and silver and tin. And we have all these things in the environment, and most people aren't even aware they're there. And so I've become very interested in this in the past 25 years or so.
And what have you discovered?
Well, I had a busy medical practice. I was doing neurology and psychiatry. And one day I said, a lot of my patients aren't getting better, and I'd like to know why. So I asked to be shown what I need to know to help people. And I started seeing all these articles on heavy metal toxicity. And I started reading these articles and going to meetings about metal toxicity. And I decided I would test all my patients to see if they had any metal toxicity. And I did it with hair analysis. And I was absolutely shocked because 80% of my patients turned out to have metal toxicity. And these are
That's
people with
8% or 80%?
80%.
80%.
And these were people who had a variety of different diagnoses. Some had multiple sclerosis, some had migraine headaches, some had chronic depression, some had bipolar illness, some had neuropathies. But it was just amazing to me because we hadn't been taught anything about this in medical school. So that changed my whole perspective. And what I find is that basically most of the things that we think are true are actually not true. For example, the American Dental Association tells us that amalgam fillings are perfectly safe for you, but they're actually 50% mercury, and they're one of the most dangerous things that you can be exposed to, because each filling releases about 5,000 trillion atoms of mercury every day, and you're exposed to that. You breathe some of it in, some of it you swallow, and it goes into your intestinal tract, and people get extremely ill over a period of time. Now, it's quite true that some people are more sensitive than others, but inevitably, over a period of time, it will make you sick.
Do you agree with
everybody?
Dr. Reeves, do you think it'll make you sick?
Pardon?
Dr. Reeves.
Oh, do I? I don't know. I'm thinking about whether I should send you a sample of my hair. I'm pretty healthy, touch wood right now, but who knows?
Well, the issue is that few of us realize how functional we could be on an optimal basis. We know what we can do now, but maybe we could be a lot better than we are. And this is one of the things that people discover when they get tested. They have their hair tested and they find that they're toxic, and then when they have this toxicity removed, they find they can do all kinds of things they couldn't do before. In fact, I have this problem myself, and during the mid-90s, I developed 15 different illnesses over a period of about 3 years, and I developed a 70-pound weight loss, and I couldn't lose any weight, and I could barely walk. I had arthritis and irritable bowel syndrome and narcolepsy, and my immune system wasn't working well, and I thought I was getting along okay, but could be a little bit better. Well, after I did a hair analysis and found out I was toxic and had all my fillings removed, I went from, then I did a chelation on myself. I did a procedure to remove all the heavy metals in my body. And over a period of about 3 years, all these 15 diseases that I had went away. And I went from being barely able to walk to actually be able to play tennis and to do ballroom dancing.
So you actually created the procedure?
Yes.
And this procedure removes toxic elements from your body?
That's correct. And I had to create this myself because for the most part, most doctors were using synthetic chemicals, which they called chelating agents, to remove the heavy metals. But I found when I used them on my patients had really bad side effects from them. Now, I became chemically sensitive to this during this period when I was mercury poisoned. And so I knew that I couldn't take these chemicals myself or I'd be very sick. So I had to develop a way of getting out the heavy metals without using those synthetic chemicals.
Dr. Reese?
How did you do that? You know me, Armstrong, I'm looking for the fountain of youth here. So if we can restore some things, I'd be very happy. So what did you discover that you could do?
Well, the first thing I found out was that you actually need to test everybody because these heavy metals are so toxic that they actually damage a number of important functions that your body has. And one of the most important functions is actually to detoxify your body. And there's so much toxic material in the environment that it gets overloaded. So what I discovered was that most people who have hair analysis actually have what we call trace mineral transport derangement, which means they're no longer able to absorb and distribute the essential minerals in their body properly. So
what you do is what? Provide something that will remove those minerals?
Well, I provide something to raise the levels of glutathione in your body, because the levels of glutathione get depleted very rapidly.
Raise the level.
And if the levels of glutathione are depleted, then your body doesn't function well. Your thyroid gland can't work properly. Your intestinal tract can't work properly. Your immune system can't work properly. So people develop all kinds of problems which are a mystery to them. They don't understand where it comes from.
But you're saying they're preventable.
They're both preventable and they're treatable.
Reversible.
And you can actually reverse the clock, because, for example, I was around, probably 60 when this happened to me, which isn't that old. Now I'm 77, and I'm in much better health than I was when I was 60. And I can do things like play tennis. I do ballroom dancing on a regular basis. My memory is better. I'm more energetic. I don't fall asleep every time they turn out the lights. I've lost, 70 pounds, and I did it effortlessly, actually.
Hold there. We're coming back. This is the Armstrong Williams Show. Don't go away.
Armstrong Williams returns in a moment.
For more information on the Armstrong Williams Show, please visit our new website at www.rightsidewire.com. There you can find his syndicated column archive, view live streams, and get your favorite conservative pundits' views on the current issues affecting the American people. From building wealth to foreign policy, stay connected with Armstrong Williams and his colleagues at the all-new www.rightsidewire.com.
Life is full of unexpected changes. Everyone has potential to do wrong. And when they choose to do it, contact the Bucksell Group for your private investigation needs. TheBucksellGroup.com or by phone at 202-243-9746. Whether there's an instance of a cheating spouse, child custody, process service, or security, don't continue suspecting. Get closure so that you can move on with your life. Visit TheBucksellGroup.com now or call 202-243-9746. If you think it's happening, it probably is.
To travelers along the road of life who have fallen asleep at the wheel, to the many who woke up in time to avert disaster and get back on the righteous path. For the ones who crashed and survived and now adhere vigilantly to a virtuous and righteous path. Finally, Armstrong Williams' much-anticipated new book, Reawakening Virtues, gives his insights into these daily challenges and much more. Reawakening Virtues is available in bookstores and at Amazon.com.
Join the millions of Americans who pursue one of our country's finest traditions, from hunting to sport shooting. Since 1871, the NRA has grown as a service organization involved in all aspects of shooting sports and is a proud defender of the Bill of Rights. Join today to begin taking advantage of exclusive membership offers and discounts, including up to $25,000 in insurance coverage. Contact the NRA today. Call 1-800-672-3888 or visit nra.org.
Most Americans simply have never been taught the basics of money management, let alone how to secure their financial future. But there is hope. Financial Education and Literacy Advisors, also known as FELA, does what others don't. FELA teaches financial education. If you'd like more information about providing a financial wellness program for your employees, or a credit-bearing college course in personal finance, or other valuable programs, please visit myfela.com. That's myfela.com, or send an email to info@myfela.com.
Elder chicks is an exciting part of the fastest growing segment of the population. Women in their 70s, 80s, and older who are mastering the art of a senior life. We're no longer unseen and unheard. We're providing role models for each other and the baby boomers who are fast approaching retirement. Join our virtual community. Hit www.elderchicks.com on your computer keyboard.
Where heads of state, sports, entertainment, and political celebrities meet. You're listening to Armstrong Williams.
And welcome back to the Armstrong Williams Show. For many years, we've known that the presence of heavy metals and toxic chemicals in the body can just trigger a range of debilitating illnesses, from chronic fatigue to lingering infections to dementia. Tell us a little more about these studies. When did we have a breakthrough, and what is it that people need to do consistently, Dr. Greenberg?
Well, of course, eating properly is basic because, you know, your body has the inherent ability to renew itself, but it has to have the basic raw materials to build healthy cells. And if you're eating junk food all the time, and you're eating foods that don't have the proper mineral content, and you're eating foods that contain lots of sugar and refined white flour that don't really have any nutrient value, well, you're in trouble because your body can't renew itself properly. So that's a big issue. Other big issues is understanding what things in the environment have to be avoided. Most people don't understand the enormous amount of toxicity that's present. They don't understand the dangers of using pesticides and herbicides. They don't understand the problems that people have with using all kinds of chemicals that are sold to them. Even things as innocent sounding as hand sanitizers contain chemicals that aren't really good for you. People don't understand that fluoride toothpaste is dangerous to your health, actually. And fluoride toothpaste and fluoride in the water supply affects your thyroid function. Even the chlorine in the water supply damages your thyroid function because the chlorine and the fluoride actually replace the iodine in the thyroid molecule and makes you hypothyroid, except that the chemical tests for thyroid function don't recognize that the thyroid molecules have been altered and they're actually inactive. So
Dr. Greenberg, can I ask you a question about that?
Sure.
To put it in really simple terms, for me anyway, I don't know about other listeners, but for example, I know it's good for my health to go to the pool and do water aerobics in a pool that is very heavily chlorinated because it's getting rid of other things that are wrong with the water if we're all going to be in it at the same time. So the health benefits of my doing that exercise, I know, but am I also endangering my health by doing that?
Because you actually are keeping yourself more fit, which is important because, you know, the ancient Chinese understood many thousands of years ago that your organs are connected to your muscles. And when you exercise, you actually help to energize all of your organs so that it improves your health from that point of view. On the other hand, when you swim in a chlorinated pool, you endanger yourself. And I'll tell you how bad it is. One of the problems that they had over the last several decades is that Olympic swimmers who swim in heavily chlorinated pools on a daily basis came down with cancers. Now that sounds pretty bad.
Yeah.
And it got so bad that finally the Olympic Committee had to make arrangements for the Olympic swimmers to swim in pools that had the water cleaned by other methods like ultraviolet radiation.
Dr.
So that,
no, go ahead, Dr. Greenberg. Please continue.
So that's pretty important, actually, because
Well,
if you
what can you do about it? I mean, should I give up water aerobics?
well, you can find another way to exercise, like walking, or you can find a pool that will clean the water with other methods, and there are other methods. In fact, a friend of mine has a pool, and I told her she needed to get rid of her chlorine, and she did. And there are commercially available means of cleaning the pool water without using chlorine.
Do you
And
feel
I
that way
strongly
about
advise you to do
fluoridation in the water supply? Most
I'm sorry, what
water
was that?
supplies are fluoride.
Do you feel that way about
fluoridated.
fluoridation in the water supply?
Oh, it's known that fluoride is a very toxic substance. It's known that fluoride will lower your IQ. It's known that fluoride will damage your thyroid function. It's known that fluoride will make you susceptible to bone cancer and to brittle bones, so that in older people, the fluoride actually causes an increased incidence of hip fractures, which obviously is a really dangerous thing. So the evidence actually, there basically is no evidence that fluoridation is beneficial to your teeth. That's a myth that was promulgated many years ago when the government was using fluoride to process uranium. And so they didn't want the workers who were getting sick to understand that it was the fluoride that was causing the problem. So they created the myth that the fluoride was good for you.
Wow. This is
There are actually there's a wonderful book called The Fluoride Deception, and a number of others with similar content that you can find available on Amazon.com. And fluoride is actually a very dangerous substance. It causes premature development of arthritis, both in animals and humans. And at one time, farmers were suing the government because of the fluoride that they were exposed to, and it was damaging the health of the animals.
But Dr. Greenberg, you've actually developed something that people can use to get rid of the toxicity in their systems?
Actually, I have, and it's called Chelorex, Chelorex.
Say that again. It's called
Chelorex, Chelorex.
Uh-huh.
And you can read about it on my website, which is scienceformulas.com.
Mm-hmm.
Scienceformulas, plural.com. And in it, we describe a lot of these issues, and we describe exactly how the Chelorex works. And we also sell a supplement to replace the essential minerals that many people are deficient in, because heavy metals actually impair the ability of the body to absorb minerals and to transport them properly in the body and distribute them the way they're supposed to be distributed.
If I took Chelorex, could I safely use the pool?
Could you safely use what? The pool?
With the chlorine in it.
Well, I wouldn't say that. And the problem is this. I mean, I'm not going to tell you that the product is going to do something it's not going to do.
Mm-hmm.
The problem is that the chlorine in the pool actually subjects you to hypothyroidism. And you will have to do something about your thyroid And one of the things I do on every person I see is I actually test their thyroid function to make sure that it's adequate, because it takes maybe 4 or 5 times as long to detoxify yourself if your thyroid function is bad. In fact, one of the problems we see in chronically ill people is that their cell membrane potential is so low, it's so weak, that their cell membranes don't work properly. And when your cell membranes don't work, it causes your body to be unable to heal properly. It causes your cell membranes to be unable to release the toxins in the cell. It causes your cell membranes to be unable to actually absorb the nutrients that you eat. That's pretty bad. And what you have
me very worried about my teenage granddaughter who's on the swimming team in her high school in Palo Alto.
If my teenage granddaughter were on the swimming team, I would demand that the high school do something about changing the chlorine, changing the method of cleaning the pool water, because this is a major problem.
Hold there. This is no, it's more than a major. It could be deadly. We're coming back. Reese, Fleischer, Greenberg, don't go away.
Armstrong Williams returns in a moment.
Say bye-bye burgers, pass on the pizza, forget the francs. Anytime is party time. Discover Golden Cross's authentic Jamaican-style patties. Beef, chicken, vegetables, soya, spinach, and shrimp. Feast on our great taste sensations. Jerk chicken, oxtail, sliced fish, and much more. Savor the taste of the Caribbean. Only at a Golden Cross near you. A family tradition since 1949. GoldenCrossBakery.com.
For more information on the Armstrong Williams Show, please visit our new website at www.rightsidewire.com. There you can find his syndicated column archive, view live streams, and get your favorite conservative pundits' views on the current issues affecting the American people. From building wealth to foreign policy, stay connected with Armstrong Williams and his colleagues at the all-new www.rightsidewire.com.
Does your school, team, church, or charity need a new fundraiser? Do you need to work out of your home or part-time? Are you a small business that can use an additional revenue stream? Then you need Yellow Llama. Do you need affordable web services or tools to enhance your existing business? Are you a graphic artist who wants to create a revenue stream with your art but not get ripped off? Then go to www.yellowllama.com.
Anderson Brothers Bank, a family-owned and operated establishment that blends traditional personal service, local market awareness, and advanced technology to meet the financial needs of its customers. Visit abbank.com or call 843-464-6271 to see how they can assist you with your banking needs. Anderson Brothers Bank, celebrating 75 years of community banking, the way it should be. Stability right in your backyard since 1933.
America must change course if we hope to survive and save the American dream for our children and grandchildren. How do we fix Social Security and Medicare? How do we cut government spending? How do we reform health care? How do we simplify the tax code? The Heritage Foundation has a bold plan that tackles these tough problems using common sense solutions that leave partisan politics on the sidelines. Find out how we can save the American dream at savingthedream.org, paid for by the Heritage Foundation.
Join the millions of Americans who pursue one of our country's finest traditions, from hunting to sport shooting. Since 1871, the NRA has grown as a service organization involved in all aspects of shooting sports and is a proud defender of the Bill of Rights. Join today to begin taking advantage of exclusive membership offers and discounts, including up to $25,000 in insurance coverage. Contact the NRA today. Call 1-800-672-3888 or visit nra.org.
Where heads of state, sports, entertainment, and political celebrities meet. You're listening to Armstrong Williams.
And welcome back to the broadcast, and thank you so much for joining us. What causes low cell membrane voltage, and how do you raise it? You know, what we're going to do with our excellent guest, Dr. Alan Greenberg, who's a medical doctor, we're going to have Dr. Fleischer and Dr. Reese ask the questions of him. I'm sure they're real inquisitive, and in this, we're already in the last segment. So, Dr. Fleischer, we'll start with you.
Well, I am concerned, just as Dr. Reese is, with all of the things that I do, that I don't see how I can avoid drinking water, swim. I like to swim almost every day. That's what I was told is wonderful exercise for me. I also walk, which is, and breathe the air. But how do I manage all of these toxic substances that are all around me?
Well, that's a great question.
What can I do to? It almost makes me think I ought to live in a bubble.
The first thing you need to do is...
I don't want to really do that.
Chlorine is a very powerful antiseptic, but it's also a carcinogen. And the fact is there are commercially available technologies that can remove bacteria and fungi and so forth from pool water and in fact from drinking water. And the problem is that there's something wrong with our public health establishment because they are absolutely blind to the toxic effects of fluoride and chlorine. And the fact of the matter is we need to find out about the real facts, and we need to educate these people. And, for example, if you go to a pool that uses chlorine, you need to educate the owners about the dangers of the chlorine.
Well, Dr. Greenberg, I am at a pool in where I live. I don't own the pool. The pool is used by many, many people. By the time I educate, assuming I can even make a dent, into the board, let's say, managers that runs the pool, I don't know if I would still be alive.
Well, look
at there are.
This
takes much time, much research,
committee can make a change.
And I think I might have to give up other things in my life in order to do this.
Look, the Olympic
What do I
Committee,
do until then?
When the Olympic Committee found out, United States Olympic Committee found out that chlorine was causing cancer in their young swimmers, they made a change. Now, if you distributed information about the toxicity of the chlorine, don't you think there would be enough people who would wake up and say, look, something needs to be done about this? And the interesting thing is that technology is not any more expensive to use these alternative technologies than it is to use the chlorine. We get into habits, bad habits. We need to change those habits. Now, I had my friend changed her pool. She's delighted with the result. The family is delighted with the result because it's so much more pleasant to swim in the water that's not chlorinated. And it works just as well. So you have to decide, first of all, you have to know what you need to know. Then you have to decide that you're going to do something about it. If there is no commitment to making a change, there will be no change.
I think also what is, I guess, kind of nagging in my mind a bit is I know that fluoridation became, when I was younger, such a political issue. How do you remove all that from the facts?
Well, the problem is it's not scientific. If you look at a website, for example, a very good health site called Mercola.com, MERCOLA.com, mercola.com. He has many articles on the negative effects, on the dangerous effects of fluoride. And he talks about this very problem that there's so much politicization of the whole subject. But the problem is, if you really look at the facts, and there's a ton of it, there's a wonderful organization called the New York State Coalition Against Fluoridation, and they have tons of wonderful material on their website which they distribute free. Okay, and I advise you all to go to that website for the New York State Coalition Against Fluoridation, and you'll learn things that are amazing about how dangerous fluoride is, about how it lowers the IQ of the population, about how it makes us all susceptible to really serious problems, serious health problems. But if you don't educate yourself, you won't find out about it. The problem is that most people are not willing to expend the effort to find out about all the lies that we're told. And they are lies. The lies that, for example, all the people think that they can go to a doctor and get cured. Conventional medicine will not cure anything. In fact, anytime something comes along which represents a cure, they will bury it as fast as they can. And that's
What was that?
I don't know.
Maybe it's the doctors trying to disrupt this conversation.
You think it was the AMA? Hello?
Oh my goodness, what was that?
Are we back together?
We are.
Dr. Greenberg, are you there? I hope no missile took the doctor out. This has been a strange day.
That is very strange.
Oh my goodness.
It was as soon as he mentioned the New York State thing. Right. He was in favor of it.
Can you believe doctors hold back cures? They don't want it known?
I find that so hard to believe.
Believe that
I don't
what?
want to believe it.
Well, none of us want to believe it. Believe me.
But
the
why?
fact of the matter is, every single pharmaceutical drug that you ingest is treated by your body as a toxin because it's an alien molecule that has never been seen on the face of the earth until the past 50 years.
But doctor, I have a daughter with MS in her 50s. If it weren't for what they've been discovering, she wouldn't still be walking.
Well, I will tell you this. Almost every case, pretty much every case of MS that I've ever seen had mercury poisoning. And in the past few years, a lot of these people will have poisoning with this artificial sweetener, the NutraSweet, because that will cause MS as well. But if you look at, if you're in your daughter's mouth, and she has amalgam fillings in her teeth, those amalgam fillings are 50% mercury, and they will cause multiple sclerosis. And she needs to have a hair analysis as much as anybody on earth.
So if we send you a sample of her hair...
Yes, you can order a hair kit at our website at scienceformulas.com. And it will show almost certainly that she has mercury toxicity.
This is a sad conversation. If I must say so. It's kind of sad.
Well, it's sad, but it's the way things really are, and we need to wake up.
We're awake. That's not the problem. It's just that we should be able to trust our medical field to first do no harm, and if they find cures, they should share it with the public. Medicine should be about healing, not about sickness.
Well, I agree with you. You know, the problem is medicine has become such an enormous business, and the people involved in it are much more interested in making money than curing people.
You think that the neurologist in charge of her case doesn't know about mercury?
Probably so. Because doctors aren't taught the real causes of disease. Believe me, they're not.
So what is your webpage address? I know we're out of time. This has just been one of those conversations where you just sit back and shake your head. Is there a website address?
Yes, it's www.scienceformulas.com.
www.scienceformulas.com.
And there's an 800 number, 800-675-4568.
Thank you. And Dr. Reese and Dr. Fleischer, you know, we always like you in the beginning and especially at the end.
Well, I mean, I'm in awe of what I've learned in the.
It's amazing, isn't it?
Absolutely.
Well, the good news is that you and Dr. Greenberg joined us at the same time, so you didn't miss anything. Thank you.
Oh, I don't know, Armstrong. They missed you and me.
Yes.
Oh.
Thank you all.
Well,
so
I'll
much.
get caught up on
and
that.
all the best. Now, thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.